Hello again. So welcome back to another update video on my harvest build, which is PopCorn skeleton, where you make skeletons explode. So I wanted to make the update kinda early on, but I drag it on because I kinda, the thing about harvest is that you always have a very clear path to upgrade. Like you can potentially upgrade every single one of your life roll into tier 1. You can eventually get all your resistance to tier 1. So I'm kind of keep trying to improve and craft, for example, the ring I can use. I don't need it, but the thing about harvest is that you know you're gonna get it, so you always want to improve it because that's too easy to do, but it's just grinding, but you know you're gonna get there. That's why harvest is making me spend way more time than I should be because on gears that I don't actually need. The major upgrade from last time is just this helmet basically. Like I mentioned, eventually you want the minion life, minion damage with the +3 socketed gems, which give a huge boost to your damage. You can easily break 500,000 damage per skeleton explosion when you get such a helmet. So this is the major update for the helmet. But the thing is that I kind of want to try and upgrade one up myself with the minion damage rings. I bought the base, I need to craft aspects of the spider on it, and then I need to get a good enough resistant roll and remove the unnecessary mods. That's why it's taking me such a long time to update. I don't need these rings, it's just minion damage. I think it's like 10% more damage with these two rings compared to rings that I used before where it just have life and resist basically. But the rings are basically my reason to delay the update, but you don't really need it. Like I said, I was using the glove before where it has craft mod of 20% minion damage, but I essence spam another redeemer glove until I hit the minion damage 2, tier 1 minion damage 2. So and then I need to remove and add life mod until I get a good enough amount of life. And then I need to add the resistance and make sure the resistance is not like 10% fire resistant. That's where it takes time, but again, the major damage is coming from your helmet. All the other gears combined is like 20%. Combine all of that is like 20% more damage. But the helmet is like 40-50% more damage, so the +3 minion gem is really good. I also upgraded my chest, but it basically have the +1 level of socket gem, so my spectre and zombie are dying less, but usually they're tanky enough, and like 90% of the time they're tanky enough. But with the +1 gem, it's like 95% they're tanky enough. But there are still situations that they can die. For example, massive pack of conqueror mobs. The conqueror ads can deal serious damage to the zombies. I think my spectre still never die, except in Half Grandmaster. Half Grandmaster still have ridiculous damage, especially for the poison and ignite builds there that can straight up melt all your spectre and zombies in like seconds. But other than that, during mapping, my spectre never died, not even once. But in Conqueror mobs, sometimes the zombies can die. Reflected map doesn't matter because they don't deal enough damage to seriously hurt themselves. And every time you summon your zombies, skeletons, every time they die, they're gonna heal the Spectre and the zombies from the life from death nodes. So yeah, they just doesn't die, and except in the very serious juiced up Conqueror mob situation. With I now have 94,000 life on the zombies, but yeah, even without the +1, they still rarely dies. But even with every minion life I try to stack on my zombies, they still sometimes die to massive packs of Conqueror monsters. Conqueror monsters is just insane. If they just stand there and take it, they still got instantly burst down sometimes. But you can easily re-summon them because you have Desecrate and you can just summon them from the get-go. But 95% of the time they doesn't die. You can go through the entire map and they don't die. Also, for the Spectre choice, I didn't mention it before because I don't really know what to use, but I ended up using Carnage Chieftain, which is this monkey looking, I think it's chimpanzee looking corpse here. You can find it in Act 2? Yeah, old fields. You can find them in old fields. I forget it's old fields or riverways, but one type of monkey here is gonna give you power charge. One type of monkey here is gonna get your frenzy charge. It doesn't have good enough uptime, but when they do their frenzy charge generation, it's gonna generate frenzy charge to all your minions. So yeah, if your skeleton get the charge before they explode, they're gonna deal more damage. That's the only Spectre I think that is able to increase our damage. So I used 2 Carnage Chieftains and 1 what's it called? Undying Evangelist. Yeah, Undying Evangelist, which gives you proxy shield. And I decided to forego minion damage and go for increased duration. So you're gonna have a bubble of safety, which is up like 80% of the time with increased duration, I think. As you can see, after a few seconds it's gonna cast, yeah. It has a few second downtime, so every time you feel like you're in danger, you can always frame dash back into the bubble, which is gonna block a lot of the damage incoming. But then again, since our blind and curse is not automatically applied, and it's not from your main damage source, so when you're just summoning skeleton while running around maps, you could still die because the enemy is not cursed or blind. So, but in boss fight it's pretty good because they will be blind from your Steep Night Blast and they will be cursed with Enfeeble. So most of the time in boss fight you don't get one shot. Even well, obviously Shaper Slam is still gonna one shot you, but what I mean is I think you can, you know, tank a lot of, like, I think even 2 Shaper boss doesn't kill you if you keep your curse and your Plague Bringer buff up. If you can bring your Plague Bringer and curse up on Shaper, even 2 Shaper boss doesn't kill you, I think, if you have full ES and full life. Also, the fact that I craft gain 10% of life as maximum energy shield is also making us actually having 2000 ES. Again, you can try Essence of Glutton, but I don't feel like you still get enough regen to really make use of it. You're still gonna be waiting for the recharge to regain your full effective life pool. So most of the time you're gonna have like 6k because you won't have full ES most of the time. You're gonna have 6k life without any other type of defense. Like 10% physical reduction is basically nothing. So yeah, if you get hit, it's gonna hurt. So it depends. I basically, since I don't feel like I really want to go further level ups, so I just go for clear speed and Quicksilver around the maps and keep summoning along the way, which result in a lot of deaths. But I think it's worth more than to try to sit back and keep summoning skeletons from afar. So yeah, there's that too. But in terms of DPS, I think a Witcher really... I like the DPS as soon as I get this helmet, because that's like most of our damage. Right now the Vow Skeleton is enough to insta-burst Elder. I think it kills Shaper in 10 seconds too. I think I'm gonna put up a clip with Shaper, full health Shaper, that basically with Vow Skeleton up is gonna die in 10 seconds, a full health Shaper. And basically if you use Vow Skeleton, the commando, the commander skeleton, which is a tall skeleton, that is skeleton, if it explodes on top of the boss, it's gonna take away like 25% of their health instantly with I'm talking about endgame boss like Conquerors or Shaper or Elder. If that commander skeleton explodes on top of the boss, it's gonna take away like 25 to 30% of their health, and it can roll double damage 4% of the time. But if that happens, you're gonna see like 40-50% of their health just instantly gone with that super skeleton exploding. But the thing is that the Vow Skeleton doesn't always summon the skeleton in the same place. So even if you put this Vow Skeleton on top of the boss, sometimes the commander skeleton is spawning too far away. And if it's facing the wrong way, it needs to turn around and walk into the boss, it may explode before it even touches the boss. So the Vow Skeleton sometimes the damage will seems unreliable because of that, because the commander skeleton is dealing insane damage. If it hits, it seems like Vow Skeleton instantly blow up the boss, but if it doesn't hit, it seems like Vow Skeleton is not doing too much compared to your normal summon. But then again, with Vow Skeleton up, you're still doubling your damage because Vow Skeleton and Skeleton is both gonna be blowing up on the boss. But the major thing is the commander skeleton. But it is difficult to reliably make the super skeleton to explode on the boss. I try to summon on top of the boss, but sometimes the commander skeleton is still gonna pop up too far away from the boss and explode before it even reaches the boss. And especially for bosses that moves around a lot, Vow Skeleton is not gonna be too reliable. For example, like Shaper in his last phase, usually the first few skeleton explode and then Shaper is gonna teleport away or use the invulnerability attack. So the Vow Skeleton is not gonna do too much. But in terms of stationary boss like Warlord, when he enter his damage reduction phase, you can just use Vow Skeleton. It's gonna instantly blow him up through his shielding phase and instantly kill him too with Vow Skeleton. So basically, if you're fighting Warlord, you summon skeletons until he enters damage reduction phase, and then you just use Vow Skeleton, and then it ends the fight. For other conquerors like Redeemer and Crusader, if you summon Vow Skeleton, they just get blown up before they can do any of their dashing around. But for Hunter, again, Hunter start dashing around when he reach like, I don't know, 80% of life. So even though the Vow Skeleton is still dealing heavy damage to him, usually the final 30% he's gonna start dashing around and you need to chase him around for a little bit. But if you are lucky enough that he do a longer animation attack, you can still blow up the Hunter before he moves. But most of the time, the final like 20-30%, he's gonna be dashing around, and the Vow Skeleton won't be able to hit him too much. So yeah, Hunter. But then again, because this league you just have the luxury to recraft all your gear until you land all the maximum resistance, so you can easily get enough chaos resistance on your build. So Yeah, I just recently capped my resistance, but most of the time 50 to 60% chaos resistance is easy to get and is enough for most of the games. And chaos damage just doesn't hurt at all, because usually you're running around with -60 and now you have positive chaos resistance, so chaos damage just doesn't hurt at all. So yeah, I don't think there's too much update to my build except the rings and glove, because the most of my time is just grinding maps, getting seeds, trying to remove and add the resistance until I get a good enough number, and the life roll too. That's what I'm doing most of the league, but yeah, you just buy the base with minion damage, and then you try to remove until you get good enough results for your taste. Yeah, I still want to improve it, but I really don't need it. I honestly don't need it. I am, yeah, as you can see, I'm over cap already, and the only thing I really want to do is the amulet. Ideally you want +1 to all intelligent gems, which is gonna further boost your damage like 10% more. But yeah, you need tier 4 seeds to attempt. You need the tier 4 seeds to have a chance to have an attempt. So I try a few times and I just hit movement speed, which is barely useful. That's another amulet I'm trying to get here, which also has minion damage, but yeah, you need a tier 4 seed to attempt it, so to have a chance to attempt it. So it's basically, yeah, you can still try it if you get the tier 4 seeds, but yeah, it's very difficult to do, but that's what I'm settling. And even for the helmet, I bought this base for 10x. 10x is enough for you to buy the minion knife, minion damage, and +3 gems. But I'm trying to improve it by adding and removing and adding fire mods, which I hope with the warlord influence, I'm hoping to get the -9% fire resistance for enemies. I mean, nearby enemy have -9% fire resist. I'm trying to hit that with removing and adding fire resist, but so far it's low luck, because it can add immolate too, which is bad because it increase your mana cost without doing anything to your build. But yeah, I'm still trying to get that mod, but again, it's not needed. It's like barely 5% increase. Like both rings is like barely 5%, and the helmet, even if you add that mod, is like barely 5%. It's like more like 3 to 4% damage. But yeah, again, this Harvest League is all about crafting, so you always see a clear path to upgrade. That's why you always want to do it, even though you don't need it. So yeah, I'm stacking up currency because I'm not spending any of them. All I do is grinding seeds and try to improve my gear, because the thing this kind of stuff is not out there. Nobody is selling this, so even if you have the money, you can't buy it because nobody is selling this type of thing. So yeah, you need the Delph monster drop with this, or Redeemer, and then you need to craft. Oh right, I switched Arctic Armor for Aspect of the Spider, because Arctic Armor doesn't save you. If you get hit by physical damage, you're still dead. If you get hit by those TDB's machine gun spears, you're still dead. So yeah, Arctic Armor doesn't really save you unless you stack enough damage reduction. So yeah, so I forgo that and go for Aspect of the Spider to further boost my damage. So that's the major changes of this build. Other than that, the whole league so far, I've just been trying to improve my gear that I don't really need after I purchased the helmet. Again, the helmet is the major chase chased gear slot for you. Other than that, the build is still blowing up everything with Vile Skeleton. So that's basically it. I think I'm gonna leave you with my I don't know, maybe the perfect Siris Kill I did. I did quite a few Siris 8 kills, but I just keep dying to his Meteor Force. But yeah, I did a few Deathless, so I'm gonna put it up, I think, in the end of this video. But I just keep dying to Siris Meteor instead of dying to his last phase. I died less to his last phase, but I just keep dying to his meteors from his shadow in the sky. Yeah, it's dumb. Well, anyway,
need a map?
I think that's it for this league for me. I don't think I'm gonna continue too much because all the upgrades are way too hard to get right now for me, and it's too difficult. I literally tried like 10 times. I bought more seats and stuff. I like fight 3 bosses, 3 influence boss, tier 4 seat boss at one time, but that is proven to be too difficult, so I reduced it to 2. And I tried like 10 times to remove and add influence mod, and it still doesn't land that. So yeah, it is too hard to get at this point, so I guess I'm done with this league now. But this build again, the prefix of the helmet is all you need. You don't need the rings, or you can just buy the base with minion damage from Delve and good enough amounts with resistant life and minion damage. That's all you need. For the glove, you can just use Essence of Fear to craft it, and you can craft the minion damage on it. It's like only 10% less minion damage. As for the boots, again, Essence of Fear until you get a good enough life or good enough movement speed, and then you craft life or movement speed on it, even though if Harvest doesn't go core, which it probably won't be. So yeah, Essence of Fear, just Essence of Fear on your chest, Essence of Fear on your glove, Essence of Fear on your boots, and then Essence of Fear on your belt too, I think. Just use Essence of Fear on all your gear until you get something. But yeah, even with basic gear, you can still gonna deal enough damage for endgame with this build. That's how OP it is. And you can league start with this, so I think this is a pretty good build, even though this is not really my original build this time around. So yeah, it's still a fun build, and yeah. So I guess that's it. I will leave you with my Awaken level 8 Siris Kill. So thank you for joining, and I'm gonna see you next league for Path of Exile. So see you around, and have a good day, and goodbye. Alright, another goddamn attempt. I just keep dying to the meteor, so I make a stupid fucking mistake at the last phase. But I died to meteors a lot more than I died to the last phase though.
Did you really think this would work?
I know I could have done a Deathless easily with this build, but I just keep getting killed by random meteors or making very silly mistakes at the final phase. The certain attack order from him at the final phase can actually be more difficult, a lot more difficult than the others.
The suffering of my fellow citizens will finally stir.
Like if he do the die beam right after the everlasting fire, that's way more difficult than him doing. Oh my god, he already tried to kill me with the meteors.
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention.
Wait, why does he move? Why does he move? Also, the degen ground at the final phase can also hit or break your fight.
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant on them.
Okay, the meteor. I see the meteor. I hate the stupid degen ground positioning before.
Really interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
I hate the degen ground. Okay. I don't like the positioning of this storm here. Why is this storm here? Why is this storm here? Come on. Okay, he's gonna do the dive beam after this. Oh, he didn't teleport. Nice. Nice, he didn't teleport. Okay, I don't like this because he's gonna do dive beam. Okay. Ooh. I never get lucky with the awakened gems. Oh well. Well, at least I finally did a Deathless. I'm not dying to stupid meteors. Whew.